This is the first time that I heard the teachings of that verses that when Jesus is coronated, where is that taking place again? Or which part of the sanctuary?
Well, when he's coronated, he's actually in Revelation 4 and 5, he's sitting on the throne.
Mm-hmm.
So that's in the most holy place.
Okay, I
All
see.
right. And then he begins the process of coming out. And then so what happens is, and then you'll notice if you go to 2 Kings 11, when they bring Joash out, they bring him out of the temple. And the people see him when he's standing at the porch.
Mm-hmm.
So there's another part of the coronation that happens again at the porch. And then he's going to come out the third time, and then there's another part of the coronation that happens at the outer gate. So you actually begin to see the coronation is actually a process of him coming out. So the coronation takes place in the most holy place. He's seated on the throne, and then he's going to come out. And when the next time we see him, you'll see him at the porch. And that's again where the Bible talks about him coming out, and then the glory comes out with him. And then the last part of the coronation is going to actually happen at the gate, because that's where he receives his bride.
Okay.
So
When he gets out after the coronation from the most holy place and comes out, is that referring to the second coming of Jesus?
yes, we call that the Advent. Yes,
Yes.
but that's actually the second coming is it doesn't become the second coming till he comes to the outer gate. The process of him coming out is what the book of Revelation is describing. And the process of him coming down is the process of those living on the earth. Judgment takes place with, are they going to worship their king? Or are they going to worship the beast in his image? And of course, judgment begins at the house of God, the most holy place, and then it goes to the next group as he goes to the holy place. That's the trumpets, and then it's going to go to the outer court. That's the plagues, and then of course, then we're going to see him. We call that the second coming. But it's actually correct that the whole process of him coming out when he begins to leave the most holy place till we see him in the sky in the outer court at the gate of the outer court is the advent of Christ. So
I want to make
the
sure I
Advent,
remember.
the second coming is actually the whole process. It's not just the end process that we think of.
Well,
Sure I remember this correctly, but you said that there's actually 3 coronations. The first one was at the cross, and the second
Yes.
was the one we're talking about now. And doesn't the third one take place in the new earth?
Yes, it does. Well, after the 1,000 years.
Right.
But so what I'm saying is that there's actually 3 parts to all 3 of the coronations. It's the fractal idea, the 3 within the 3 within the 3, right?
Okay.
So yes, that's why they receive 3 emblems at the coronation, right? The crown, the aduth, and then the anointing. So there's a process. Remember when the queen died, and then this king was it last summer? This king was coronated as king, right? Whatever his name is, the
Charles.
King of England. Yeah, Charles. The coronation didn't happen. It wasn't a one-time event that happened in one day. It's a process. And it's so that's the whole point of the book of Revelation, that there's a process, because there has to be time for the subjects to make a decision whether they're going to submit, bow down to this king, or they're going to rebel against him. And throughout Scripture, when you read the stories of the Old Testament, it's only after the king is acknowledged as king then the subjects must choose. And then after the subjects choose, there's this life or death struggle. Either the king dies, or his opposing king dies, or the people that follow him die, or they live. That once there's this judgment process, and then it says after that, it says that his throne or his kingdom was established, or his kingship was established. Well, the idea of the establishing of the kingdom, and when the kingdom is established, that's when they reaffirm the kingship, because there was a question. Not everybody received this guy as king. Is he rightfully the king? And so they would go and reestablish the kingship.
It was interesting when Queen Elizabeth died, Charles immediately became king, but then it initiated a process that took several months to a set date when he was officially coronated and officially became king
That's right.
in a public ceremony.
And in the Bible, they call that the Ascension year.
The Ascension year, that's right.
So there's the Ascension year, and then there's the first year of his reign. And the first
Yeah.
year is always the Jubilee. That's when the Jubilee year comes, when he's coronated his first year. And that's when the benefits of the king are poured out to the people.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Slaves were set free and debts were erased and all
right,
of that.
the whole Jubilee process. And by the way, there's three parts to that, right? Yes. So you start seeing how all this imagery starts linking together.
The only question I have is, as it's happening in the throne room, it's happening on earth. Yes?
Yeah.
That process?
Well, he becomes the king of the whole domain, right?
Right.
And
But
that's where the struggle comes between the beast that comes out of the sea, because the beast claims dominion, right? By
Yes.
the way, there's also actually a conflict over all three domains, and the dragon in Revelation 12, it talks about heaven and then the earth and then the sea, and then of course in Revelation 12 it talks about the conflict between Michael and dragons over the heaven, the earth, and the sea, and then of course the dragon's cast out of heaven, so the dragon represents heaven. In Revelation 13, you see the beast come out of the sea, and then the second beast comes out of the earth, and so what's being controverted, or what's being fought over, is the domain of the kingdom, the heaven, the earth, and the sea. So that's where the sea of glass is before the throne, because that's part of the domain that's being controverted over. The beast rises out of the sea because he's actually defending the sea against the rising up, saying he's truly the king of the sea, not the one on the throne. That's what's happening in Daniel 7, by the way. The four beasts come up out of the sea because they're defending the realm of the sea, and the four beasts that come out of the sea are actually in antithetical contrast, or in conflict with the four winds that come out of heaven. So you have the Spirit of God, the winds of heaven are in conflict with the four beasts that come out of the sea, and the issue is the kingship. And that's why in Daniel 7 you have the four beasts, and then you have the little horn. Well, you have the same thing in Revelation chapter 4. You have the four beasts, the four living creatures, and then you have the throne of God, which is going to be what you're going to see, the Son of Man.
True.
So you see in Revelation 4, you see the king, the throne of God, four living creatures that surround the throne, and then the one on the throne. And then in Daniel 7, you see the four beasts come out of the sea, and then you see the little horn. And what Daniel and Revelation are telling you is that these are the two kingdoms, and they're two kings in conflict. And the counterfeit is trying to mirror the true.
Okay, so that's why it's a sea of glass.
Yes, and it's a sea of glass because the idea is that the glass reflects the glory of the throne. That's why it's in Daniel 7, it looks like a river of fire, but it's actually a sea of glass. And of course, the 144,000, or those who have victory over the beast, they stand on the sea of glass. And that's the same as Jesus walking on the Sea of Galilee, right? He doesn't sink into the chaos because he's the Lord of order. It's also Feast of Tabernacles imagery. Fire is light, and then there's water, the sea. There's light and water, so it's actually recreation. So there's many aspects to this, right? So the same as the idea of the rainbow that surrounds the throne, they stand on the sea of glass, and the sea of glass is fire and water. It's light and water. So it's creation. And that's why they're standing on the sea of glass. They're standing because they've overcome.
Yes.
They've been recreated. They're being restored into the image and likeness of their creator. And that's why the 144,000 stand on the sea of glass.
It's also, as Christ comes out of the most holy place into the holy place to do his work at the golden altar, the door behind him stays open.
Right.
And then as he comes from the holy place to the courtyard, the door behind him stays open. So now the light from the throne is shining into the courtyard and mingles with the sea of water and becomes a sea of fire. Looks like fire mingled
Right.
with water.
That's right.
Because the light all the way into the throne can be seen.
Okay.
Right. And see,
Okay.
what's cool about this is that you see the picture again, is that all the emblems, when Christ leaves this place and comes out to this place, everybody and everything moves out with him. Nobody is staying behind. Would you stay behind? Oh, I'm going to stay here. Just when you come back, let me know. No, everybody's coming. So everything comes, everything moves. And that's why you see the emblems, the emblems of the most holy place are repeated in the holy place, and the emblems in both places are repeated in the outer court, is because all the emblems of one apartment are in each apartment. And as he comes out, everything heaven is emptied. So by the time we see the second coming come, and he's out here, we call it the second coming. That's why he's coming. All the angels are with him. Everybody's there. Nobody's staying back, right?
Yeah.
Is that why it says that the heaven is silent for half hour?
Yes. There's silence in heaven. That's right. Very good.
Is I have another question. Is the Father also coming? Coming?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
You think he'd miss it?